Alrighty then. This is just a really quick demo. I'm going to create a Linux VM, and let's see. I'm going to call it Linux auth, because what we're going to do with this Linux VM is we're going to change the way we authenticate. So before I selected password and I put in a username password and that's how I got into the machine. So through SSH, through the PuTTY client. So this time we're going to do it with a public private key pair, and we're going to call it let's see, Linux admin, and we're going to generate a new private and public key pair is a public and a private key. And that's all I want to do here. That's all I'm demonstrating is this public private key. This is more real world. This is how I do it in our environment. I use a special access card, and I take that that private key, and then it gets loaded onto the server through our SSH client. We don't use PuTTY, but we have something very similar. So I'm ready to create this VM, and I got to download the private key here. Okay, and then this private key is going to be called Linux auth. So it's a PEM file. Okay. So once the Ubuntu server is ready to go, we're going to actually go into here, put that public IP right here, and then we're going to jump down here to SSH and load. Well, first of all, we have to, well, let me show you what we have to do first, and that'll make more sense. So we downloaded the PEM file, right? Okay, so here is the public IP. Let's just get that in there. Now here, if you go under auth, you look here, private key file for authentication. Now it's looking for a PPK file, but Linux auth is a PEM file, so you have to convert that to a PPK file to that format. And there's another tool called PuTTYgen, and it's a key generator, and you can load a private key file that's existing, and then so here's that PEM file. I'm going to open it. Successfully imported the foreign key OpenSSH SSH2 private key old PEM format. To use this key with PuTTY, you need to use the save private key command and take it and save it in PuTTY's own format. So here's the save private key. Are you sure you want to save without a passphrase to protect it? Normally I would save this. Well, no, not in this case. I don't save it with a private key. So here we're going to call it Linux auth, and it's going to be called PPK. Okay. So now that it's saved, I can close that and go back to here, and there it is right there, Linux auth PPK. So I open that guy up, and I've already put my public IP in. Now I go ahead and I open, just as I did before. Instead of putting in my username password, I'm just going to put in Linux admin, and it's authenticating with the key that's stored in the PuTTY client, and now it can get in. So that is how you do a VM with the private the key pair authentication. So private and public keys. Hope that makes sense.